Welcome back to High Stakes. Elevate your game by subscribing to our channel so you never miss our daily content. For exclusive access to our premium betting picks, join our Patreon. Find the link in the comments section below. Stay ahead with High Stakes. Chicago Cubs versus Pittsburgh Pirates. The Chicago Cubs had a surprise season in 2023, and after locking down several big names over the winter, they entered 2024 full of expectations. But with a 30-37 record away from home, they sit one game under .500, putting them 4.5 games back of the final wild card spot in the NL. With 559 runs scored this season, the Cubs sit 16th in baseball, but with the fifth best pitching staff in the league, they've managed to stay in the race all season long, and will now need to make up plenty of ground over the next 5 weeks to push for a playoff spot. Despite a promising start to the 2024 campaign, the Pittsburgh Pirates have fallen off in a big way, and with a 32-34 home record this season, they've completely fallen out of playoff contention, sitting dead last in the competitive National League Central entering today's play. Although Pittsburgh have a few budding stars in their lineup, the depth just isn't there yet as they sit 25th in the league in total runs scored, and while the pitching rotation is full of potential, they've struggled for consistency, ranking 13th in team ERA, so while the future remains bright, they haven't been able to put it together over the full 2024 season. These two teams have met on 8 occasions in 2024, and despite the disparity in star-level talent, the record sits at 4-4 thus far, with both teams putting their offense on display throughout all of those matchups. However, in starts by Justin Steele, the Cubs are 0-3 dating back to September of 2023, with the team allowing 28 runs in those 3 appearances. And with the Pirates looking to upset a division rival, expect them to get onto Steele again and pick up a shock victory. My team pick is Pittsburgh to win. Despite the 2 starters in this one having ERAs under 3.60, the over is 7-1 in their past 10 matchups, with the combined average of runs scored in those encounters coming out to over 10 runs per game, including 26 runs scored in the series opener. For the Cubs, the over sits at 6-3-1 in their past 10 overall games, with almost 40 runs scored over their past 4 games, and for the Pirates, the over sits at 5-4-1 in their past 10 games, with over 50 runs allowed over that stretch. My total pick is over 7.5 runs. Los Angeles Angels versus Detroit Tigers. The Angels are in the midst of a 10-game road swing, and it couldn't have started out much worse as the club went 1-6 in trips through Kansas City and Toronto. The club scored just 21 runs in that stretch, and this season they've put up 515 runs in 131 games, 13th in the American League. Angels hitters have a .232 team batting average on the year, but were third to last in the AL with 128 home runs and a .674 OPS. Zach Neto had a hit and drove in one of the team's 2 runs in their 8-2 loss on Sunday. The rookie shortstop also swiped his 23rd stolen base of the season, tying him for 10th most in the American League. The Tigers have quietly been one of the best teams in baseball, going 13-9 in the month of August and 6-2 in their 8 games prior to Monday. Against the White Sox, they scored 27 runs in their first 3 games, and over the last 2 weeks they've put up 65 runs in 12 games, third most in the American League. This season, Detroit's offense ranked 8th heading into Monday with 556 runs in 131 games, and they slashed .234/.297/.388 in that span. Colt Keith collected 3 hits and drove in 3 runs in the club's 9-4 win on Sunday. The second baseman went into Monday night's game on an 8-game hit streak. The Angels wound up taking 3 of 4 games from Tigers when they met in Anaheim at the end of June. That was a Detroit side which was just 38-46 at the end of that series. Now, though they still sit well outside of postseason contention, they've found their stride over the last month of play. The Angels, on the other hand, continue to sink, getting passed by Oakland over the last week of play. Cueto had a rough go in his first start, and his road back wasn't so pleasant in the minors either. Given the tear that the Tigers' offense is on of late, they should be salivating at this opportunity. Herter likely won't be on the mound too long for the hosts, having a season high of just 22 pitches in an outing this season. Detroit's bullpen should be able to keep the Los Angeles lineup at bay. My team pick is the Tigers to win. The total was split in the 4 games they placed against each other at the end of June. This season there have been 129 games between the two teams which have hit the over. In this particular matchup, we have to likely rely on one side to handle the bulk of the heavy lifting. Thankfully for us, Detroit is currently boasting such a lineup, having scored at least 5 runs in 4 of their 5 games prior to Monday, with 3 of those efforts seeing at least 8 runs produced by the team. The Los Angeles lineup has been very bad of late, but should be due for a breakout at some point in this series. With a day off on Monday, I expect this to be the place where the Los Angeles lineup shows up. My total pick is over 9.5 runs. Houston Astros versus Philadelphia Phillies, and the Astros 3-2 loss to the Phillies on Monday night. Ronel Blanco pitched 5.2 innings, allowing 7 hits and 2 earned runs while striking out 5. Josh Hader took the mound for the 9th and 10th innings, recording 3 strikeouts but ultimately conceding the walk-off single. Offensively, Alex Bregman went 2 for 4, and Shea Whitcomb contributed with a 1 for 4 performance, driving in both of the Astros' runs. Victor Caratini added to the effort with 1 hit and 3 at-bats and scored a run. Despite a valiant effort, the Astros fell just short in the opening game of the 3-game series. The Phillies clinched their 77th win of the season with a thrilling 3-2 extra-inning victory over the Astros on Monday night. Zach Wheeler delivered a solid performance, pitching 6 innings and allowing 6 hits and 2 earned runs while striking out 6. Orion Kerkering contributed with a scoreless inning, maintaining the team's defensive strength. At the plate, Bryce Harper was pivotal, going 1-for-2 and securing the win with a walk-off single. Bryson Stott added to the offensive effort with 2 hits and 4 at-bats, while Brandon Marsh went 1-for-3 with a run scored and an RBI. Nick Castellanos also chipped in, going 1-for-4 with an RBI. This well-rounded effort by the Phillies gives them the lead in the 3-game series. The Philadelphia Phillies currently lead the National League East with a record of 77-54. This season, they have averaged 4.91 runs and 8.88 hits per game, boasting a team batting average of .259 and a team on-base percentage of .327. The Phillies' strong offense has yielded a run differential of plus 114, with opponents averaging 4.03 runs and 8.05 hits per game against them. Furthermore, opponents have a team batting average of .238 and on-base percentage of .300 against the Phillies on average this season. The Philadelphia Phillies have a 66-65 record against the run line this season, with a 32-33 record when playing at home. In games following a win, their record against the run line is 36-40. They failed to cover the run line in their last game and have managed to cover it in only 4 of their last 8 matchups. The Houston Astros currently hold the top spot in the American League West with a record of 70-61. This season, they have averaged 4.58 runs and 8.92 hits per game, boasting a team batting average of .260 and an on-base percentage of .321. The Astros' offense has contributed to a run differential of plus 73, with opponents averaging 4.02 runs and 7.55 hits per game against them. Moreover, opponents have a team batting average of .228 and an on-base percentage of .308 against the Astros this season. My team pick is Houston Astros plus 1.5 runs. As of August 26, 2024, the Philadelphia Phillies have seen 65 of their 131 games this season finish under the projected total, with 33 of those under games occurring at home. Following a win, 40 out of 76 games have ended under the posted total, including their last game and 6 of their last 10. Meanwhile, the Houston Astros have had 75 of their 131 games end under the projected total, with 38 of 60 games following a loss also finishing under. In their last 14 games, the Astros have seen 9 conclude under the projected total. Given these low-scoring trends and considering both teams' strong pitching performances this season, betting under the posted total presents a solid opportunity in this high-stakes matchup between two first-place playoff contenders. My total pick is under 8.5 runs. Oakland Athletics versus Cincinnati Reds. The Oakland Athletics have been playing at a poor level this season but are doing better than people expected, despite being 19 games below .500 so far. The team is fourth in the AL West with a 56-75 record entering this game. The Athletics have been lesser at the plate as they are 21st in MLB with a .693 team OPS while averaging 3.98 runs per game thus far. The Cincinnati Reds have been struggling compared to what they have been expecting as they are below .500 with a lot of talent on the roster. The team is fourth in the NL Central right now as they have a 63-68 record heading into this game. The Reds have been hitting at a decent level at the plate right now as they have a .231/.304/.400 team/line and are scoring 4.46 runs per game. These teams are not playing at a good level so far this season, but the Oakland Athletics should have the advantage going into this game. Since the All-Star break, these starting pitchers have been on two completely different levels as Mitch Spence is 2-3 with a 4.45 ERA and a .254 batting average against in 32.1 innings over 6 starts, while Nick Lodolo is 1-3 with a 7.78 ERA and a 1.35 WHIP in 37.0 innings over 7 starts since the second half began. Even when these starting pitchers are no longer on the mound, the bullpens are doing great this season, but there is a miniature gap. The Oakland Athletics are 6th in Major League Baseball with a 3.59 reliever ERA, while the Cincinnati Reds are right behind them in 7th place with a 3.60 bullpen ERA right now. All in all, go with the Oakland Athletics as road underdogs to secure a win in this game. My team pick is Oakland Athletics to win. When looking at the starting pitchers during the month of August, Mitch Spence is 0-3 with a 5.57 ERA and a .282 batting average against in 21.0 innings, 4 starts, while Nick Lodolo is 1-2 with an 8.84 ERA and a 1.42 WIP in 18.1 innings, 4 starts, so far. These teams are going to be able to come through with runners in scoring position as Oakland has a .709 team OPS in those situations while Cincinnati is smashing the baseball with a .808 team OPS with runners in scoring position. Go with over 9.5 runs in this game as both pitchers are giving up a lot of runs. My total pick is over 9.5 runs. New York Yankees versus Washington Nationals. The New York Yankees have been a dominant team this year as they are fighting for the top spot in the American League. They are currently best in the AL East standings as they are 2.0 games ahead in the division. The Yankees have been incredible offensively as the team has a .251/.335/.442/ line while averaging 5.11 runs per game up to this point. The team has been able to hit for an outstanding amount of power as they are first in baseball with 206 total homers so far. Center fielder Aaron Judge has been hitting on a completely different level as he has a 1.197 OPS with 51 home runs, 122 RBIs, 104 runs scored, and 6 stolen bases on 6 attempts this year. The Yankees look like a dominating juggernaut, and it will be interesting to see if anyone can slow them down. The Washington Nationals have been doing poorly this season as they are 4th in the NL East as they are 18.5 games back in the division and 12.0 games out of the NL wildcard heading into this game. Their offense has been struggling as they are 22nd in the sport with a .689 team OPS and scoring 4.21 runs per game. The team has been extremely aggressive on the bases as they are best in baseball in stolen bases as they have 178 steals while being caught 62 times this year. Shortstop C.J. Abrams has been doing well at the plate as he has recorded 8.247/.318/.438/ line with 18 home runs, 62 RBIs, 73 runs scored, and 27 steals in 38 attempts. The Nats have a lot of young talent and beginning to get seasoning as the season marches on. The New York Yankees are clearly the better team and should dominate here. Garrett Cole has been pitching well on the road as he is 3-1 with a 3.43 ERA and a .244 batting average against in 21.0 innings, 4 starts, while Patrick Corbin is 2-5 with a 5.01 ERA and a 1.36 WHIP in 73.2 innings, 13 starts, at home. These offenses since the All-Star break have done well, but there is a difference as New York is averaging 5.47 runs per game while Washington is scoring 4.4 runs per game. Go with the New York Yankees to cover the run line here. My team pick is New York Yankees minus 1.5 runs. When looking at how these starting pitchers have been pitching in the month of August, they are doing well as Garrett Cole is 2-0 with a 1.17 ERA and a .207 opposing batting average in 23.0 innings, 4 starts, while Patrick Corbin is 1-1 with a 4.87 ERA and a 1.62 WHIP in 20.1 innings, 4 starts. These offenses in the last 13 games are not scoring enough as the Yankees are averaging 4.62 runs per game while the Nats are scoring 3.69 runs per game. All in all, go with under 9 runs in this game. My total pick is under 9 runs. Toronto Blue Jays versus Boston Red Sox. Toronto swept the Angels at home, scoring 8 runs on 7 hits in their series finale. The Blue Jays finished with 2 batters logging at least 2 hits, with both Alejandro Kirk and Addison Barger launching a home run. Kevin Gausman got the start and over 7 innings he allowed 1 run on 2 hits while striking out 10. RHP Yariel Rodriguez is expected to take the mound in Game 2. Rodriguez is set to make his 15th start of the season. He currently holds the 1-5 record to go with a 4.40 ERA. He's been more vulnerable on the road as his ERA climbs to 5.16, but he's retired more batters than innings thrown and is holding foes to around .220 at the plate. However, it should also be noted that Rodriguez is hurling his weakest when tossing in night games. The month of August hasn't been kind to the 27-year-old as he's allowed 5 homers in 4 starts and has opponents hitting better than .250 at the plate. The Red Sox bats were unable to get going as they scored just 8 runs in their series against Arizona. Boston scored 5 runs on 9 hits in Game 3, which was their best performance of the series. Tristan Casas led the way with 2 hits and he added a home run. Tanner Houck got the start and over 6 innings he allowed 6 runs on 7 hits while striking out 2. RHP Cooper Criswell is expected to get the start on Tuesday for Boston. Criswell will be making his 15th start of the season and he currently holds a 5-4 record to go with a 4.41 ERA. Criswell has been stronger at home, but opponents are still hitting better than .240 at the plate. His night OBA of .293 is also above his season average, but Criswell's only allowed 3 homers in 50 innings thrown. He's been vulnerable in August as his ERA has climbed to 7.59 and opponents are hitting better than .350 of the plate. The key will lie in his ability to limit the long ball, as he's been able to do all season. Rodriguez has been all over the place at times this season and his high home run rate in August will play right into the hands of the hot Boston bats. The Red Sox continue to see the ball well and are hitting even stronger under the lights. Meanwhile, Toronto has lacked consistency at the plate and they are averaging fewer than a home run per contest throughout the month of August. My team pick is Boston moneyline. With Rodriguez's pitching tendencies playing right into Boston's strengths, we should expect the Red Sox to shake their poor performance against Arizona and bounce back here. Criswell has also struggled in night games this season, and that should put some wind in the sails of the Blue Jays, who are already averaging over 5 runs per game over their last 4. Simply put, neither pitcher exudes much confidence in terms of putting together a quick inning. Expect the bats to heat up here. My total pick is over 10 runs. San Francisco Giants versus Milwaukee Brewers. San Francisco is 66-66 and is 4th place in the NL West and 5 games back of a wild card spot. The Giants are coming off losing 2 of 3 on the road to the Seattle Mariners. San Francisco is slashing .243 .312 .397, which ranks 15th, and 16th in the majors, while on the road are slashing .234 .310 .398. Against Myers, only Canha has faced him, and he's 0-4-2. Milwaukee enters play with a record of 75-55 and is in first place in the AL Central. The Brewers are coming off taking 2 of 3 to the Oakland Athletics, and on Tuesday, Milwaukee will be starting right-hander Tobias Myers. Myers is 6-5 with a 2.87 ERA, while in his last start, he went 4 innings, allowing 2 runs against the Cardinals, while at home, he's 2-0 with a 3.04 ERA. Milwaukee has a team ERA of 3.70, which ranks 3rd. Milwaukee is atop of the NL Central as the Brewers are playing great baseball, and this is a good spot to take Milwaukee on the ML at home in the first game of the season. The Brewers have been solid at home, especially Myers, who has been solid. This should be a good pitching duel, but Milwaukee has the better offense, which will be the difference here. The Brewers are 38-24 at home, while as a home favorite are 28-14. The Giants, meanwhile, is 15-25 as a road underdog, as look for those trends to continue here. Take the Brewers' money line. The under is a good spot in this game, as Webb and Myers are solid and should be able to limit the offenses. Both pitchers should be able to limit the hits and runs, while neither offense is about league average. Although both teams have been better over teams, the pitching matchup makes it a good spot to take the under, especially with neither team having much familiarity with the pitcher. My total pick is under 7.5 runs. Texas Rangers versus Chicago White Sox. The reigning World Series champions haven't looked nearly as fierce this season, and it's looking like they'll probably miss the playoffs entirely. Texas is just 60-71 heading into the new week, which puts them 10.0 games out of first place in the AL West. As for the wild card race, the Rangers are 12.5 games out of the final spot. This season has been a complete disaster for the White Sox, who just suffered their 101st loss on Monday night. The defeat marked their 4th straight loss, and all 4 of those losses were at the hands of the Tigers: 5-2, 13-4, 9-4, 6-3. For context, the Rockies, 48-83, and Marlins, 47-83, are the next closest teams in terms of losses. Even though the Rangers aren't playing their best baseball right now, I think we're getting a fantastic deal with only having to lay a -145 price tag with them. I mean, we're talking about the White Sox here, who have lost 101 games this season. I think the reason that the line is so tight is because Garrett Crochet is pitching. Well, Crochet hasn't pitched more than 4.0 innings in any of his last 9 starts. That means we should get a healthy dosage of Chicago's bullpen, which is one of the worst in the league. I'll dive into their numbers below, but I'm confident that Texas can do enough against them to secure a win. Finally, it's worth noting that Texas starter Andrew Heaney, 4.04 ERA, has limited Chicago's roster to a slash line of .152/.200/.364 over 33 at-bats. Let's back the Rangers in this spot. My team pick is Texas Rangers moneyline. Crochet appears to be conserving his pitch count for future seasons, which is why we're seeing him exit these games prior to the 5th inning. Well, even while the left-hander has been in the game, he hasn't been productive. In his last 4 starts, he owns a 6.91 ERA over 14.1 innings. He'll take on a dangerous Rangers offense that always has potential to put up a crooked number. The crux of this play on the over is because of the bullpens. Chicago brings in a bullpen that's ranked 29th in both ERA, 5.05, and WHIP, 1.53. Texas Arm Barn has been equally as disappointing, sitting 26th, 4.45, and 27th, 1.36, in those respective categories. Let's sit back and root for offense in this one. Give me the over. My total pick is over 8.5 runs. Miami Marlins versus Colorado Rockies. The Marlins now have 2 goals. play the kids and ruin everyone else's season. That started on Sunday afternoon at Lone Depot Park. The Marlins snapped a 5-game skid with a 7-2 win over the Cubs, powered by homers from Connor Norby and Jesus Sanchez and backed by a strong outing from right-hander Adam Oller. While Sanchez is the longest-tenured position player on the team, Norby and Oller only recently joined the roster at the start of the homestand, making significant contributions in the series finale. Manager Skip Shoemaker emphasized the importance of these opportunities for players like Oller, who have bounced around various organizations without getting a real shot. "We have a lot of those guys," Shoemaker said. "We have a lot of those guys that need some confidence at this level, believing that they can do it. But until you do it, you don't know. You're still unsure." Oller's a guy that's been moved around quite a bit in his career. At his age, he maybe hasn't got a real shot, but he's going to get a real shot here. Oller, who signed a minor league contract with the Marlins on July 10th, struggled in his first appearance on Monday, giving up 5 runs and walking 4 over 4 2/3 innings. However, after some adjustments and a focus on attacking the zone, he bounced back on Sunday by relying heavily on his four-seamer, throwing it 71.6% of the time. The result was a win in his first start since August 17, 2022. Oller allowed just 1 run on 4 hits and 2 walks across 5 2/3 innings, the deepest he has pitched since August 27, 2022, while tying his career high with 6 strikeouts. A new bat has emerged for Colorado, but it's too little, too late in the year for anything to come of it, for like the Marlins, to ruin someone else's season. Jake Cave, once a promising prospect in the Yankees organization, made his mark against his former club on Saturday afternoon at Yankee Stadium. The 31-year-old right fielder, now a member of the Colorado Rockies, put on a show in his first start since the previous week, collecting 4 hits and coming just a triple shy of the cycle in a commanding 9-2 victory over the Yankees. Cave, who was traded to the Minnesota Twins in 2018 before finding his way to Colorado, reminisced about his time in the Yankee system, where he played alongside Aaron Judge and Gleyber Torres and worked with current Yankees hitting coach James Rosen. On this day, however, Cave was all about the present, delivering key hits that contributed to the Rockies' offense. His first hit, a double in the second inning, set up a sacrifice fly to give Colorado an early 2-0 lead. He continued to torment Yankees pitching, adding an RBI single in the third and a 2-run homer in the 7th, much to the delight of his Rockies teammates. Really, it's about who wants to lose the least. Both of these teams are bad, but the Marlins are especially tough to watch. The Rockies lineup, led by players like Jake Cave, has shown moments of offensive strength. Cave's recent standout performance, including a game where he was just a triple shy of the cycle, highlights the potential for significant offensive output. Meanwhile, the Marlins have struggled offensively, ranking near the bottom in key categories such as runs scored and home runs. Colorado have been competitive in recent games, showing resilience and a capacity to perform well against weaker opponents like the first game of this series. The Marlins' recent 2-9 record over their last 11 games. My team pick is Colorado Rockies to win. Both the Marlins and Rockies have struggled offensively this season. Miami ranks 29th in runs scored, 27th in home runs, and 28th in RBIs, while Colorado is ranked 20th, 18th, and 19th in the same statistical rankings. This has especially been true in their recent games against the Yankees, Nationals, and Padres. They evened with the under yesterday as they combined for a total of 5 runs. More stats. The Marlins have a 24-37-1 over-under record on the road, and the Rockies are 28-34-1 at home. Honestly, the biggest blow to Miami's production was the Jazz Chisholm Jr. trade to the Yankees. Both teams have struggled to exceed high totals this season, which supports the expectation of a lower scoring game, and 10.5 is way too high, even in the thin air of Colorado. My total pick is under 10.5 runs. New York Mets vs. Arizona Diamondbacks. The Mets have dropped 2 of their previous 3 games, including a 3-2 defeat at the hands of the Padres and San Diego over the weekend. The Mets led 2-0 heading into the 8th, but the Padres tied in the bottom of the innings and hit a solo shot off in the 9th off of New York reliever Edwin Diaz to walk it off. Starter Jose Quintana was effective, pitching 6.1 scoreless innings and giving up 4 hits. DH JD Martinez and third baseman Mark Viento went deep in the loss. The Mets pitching staff has excelled recently, limiting their opponents to 3 runs or less in 4 of their previous 5 games. The Diamondbacks won their 6th straight game over the weekend when they took down the Red Sox 7-5 in Boston. Starter Merrill Kelly won his 4th game of 2024 by going 6 innings and allowing 4 earned runs on 7 hits while striking out 5 batters. Reliever Justin Martinez earned his 6th save despite letting up a run in the 9th. Third baseman Eugenio Suarez smacked his 20th home run and drove in 3 in the win. Arizona's offense has been on point recently, scoring 4 runs or more in 4 straight. The Diamondbacks won their 6th straight game over the weekend when they took down the Red Sox 7-5 in Boston. Starter Merrill Kelly won his 4th game of 2024 by going 6 innings and allowing 4 earned runs on 7 hits while striking out 5 batters. Reliever Justin Martinez earned his 6th save despite letting up a run in the 9th. Third baseman Eugenio Suarez smacked his 20th home run and drove in 3 in the win. Arizona's offense has been on point recently, scoring 4 runs or more in 4 straight. Manny has pitched effectively versus the Diamondbacks, producing a 4-3 record with a 3.91 ERA and a 1.19 WHIP in 9 starts and 3 relief appearances. He struck out 10 Arizona batters in his last outing against them. The Mets have dominated the Diamondbacks in Arizona recently, winning 5 of their previous 6 meetings and sweeping them 3-0 last July. New York has batted a robust .292 with a .575 slugging percentage over their last 3 games at Chase Field. Diamondback hurlers have produced a bloated 6.25 ERA with a 1.66 WHIP against New York in their prior 10 games. The Mets have won more than 50% of their games away from New York, and they rank 3rd in the league in slugging percentage with .444. Arizona's pitching staff has struggled at home in 2024, ranking 25th in the league in ERA with 4.47. Arizona is missing several key players, including second baseman Marte and first baseman Walker, while the Mets are almost at full strength. The stats and trends strongly support a Mets victory on the road Tuesday. My team pick is New York to win. Arizona is the MLB's highest scoring team, with an average of 5.34 runs per game. 4 of the last 5 matchups between these squads have gone over the run total, with 48 runners crossing the plate during their previous 4-game series. Diamondbacks hurlers have recently struggled against the Mets at home, producing a 5.75 ERA and 1.61 WHIP in their prior 4 games. Both teams have prolific offenses in 2024, ranking in the top 10 in multiple offensive categories, so both teams have the tools to score quickly in bunches. Both pitching staffs rank in the league's bottom half in several key categories, including ERA. The Diamondbacks have pushed or gone over the run total in 4 of their last 5 home games, and they have exceeded 4 runs in 5 straight. Manny allowed 6 runs in 5.2 innings in his previous outing against the Diamondbacks. Most signs point to a higher scoring affair in Arizona on Tuesday. My total pick is over 8 runs. Tampa Bay Rays vs. Seattle Mariners. Tampa Bay is 65-66 overall hit season. The Rays are in second to last place in the American League East Division. They are 12.5 games back of the Yankees for first in the division. They are also 1 game ahead of the Blue Jays for last place in the division. The Rays are 7 games back of the Twins for a wild card place. Tampa Bay has lost 4 of their last 5 games coming into Tuesday. Seattle is 67-65 overall this season. They are in second place in the American League West Division. They are 3.5 games back of the Astros for first in the division. The only way that the Mariners can make the playoffs is by winning the division. They are 5.5 games away from the Orioles for a wild card place. Seattle has won 3 of their last 4 games entering Tuesday. The Mariners are making a slight charge towards the playoffs with 5 weeks to go. They have won 3 of their last 4 games, and they have looked better since firing their manager a week ago. Seattle is just 3.5 games back of the Astros for the division lead, and they have another good chance of cutting into that on Tuesday. Tampa Bay has struggled recently as they have lost 4 of their last 5 games. They are starting Jeffrey Springs, who has allowed 7 runs and 8.1 innings of work on the road. The poor Mariners offense can take advantage in that department despite their rankings. Seattle has a .207 home batting average, but in a low-scoring game, I am going to side with the home team. Seattle will be starting Logan Gilbert, who has pitched well this year. He has a home ERA of 2.53, and I think the Mariners can sneak out a win. Take the Mariners to cover. My team pick is Seattle Mariners minus 1.5 runs. The reason that both these teams have struggled this year is because of their offense. They both struggled to get extra bases and, frankly, just get on base. The Mariners are hitting .207 at home, and Tampa Bay is averaging .215 in August. This should be a low-scoring game as both teams are out of form from the plate. Take the under 8.5 runs. Baltimore Orioles versus Los Angeles Dodgers. The Baltimore Orioles are having a great season offensively thus far as they are 5th in the majors with a .761 team OPS while scoring 4.98 runs per game. Their power numbers have been outstanding as well, with the team ranking 2nd in baseball with 199 total home runs so far. Right fielder Anthony Santander has been hitting well as he has a .821 OPS with 38 homers, 86 RBIs, 77 runs scored, and a pair of stolen bases without being caught. The Los Angeles Dodgers have been an outstanding team at the plate as they are 3rd in the sport with a .765 team OPS while averaging 4.95 runs per game. The team has been patient at the dish and taking their pitches as they are 2nd in baseball with 484 total walks this year. First baseman Freddie Freeman has been hitting well as he has posted a .857 OPS with 17 home runs, 73 RBIs, 70 runs scored, and 6 steals on 8 attempts. There is a bit of a difference between these starting pitchers when diving into their splits, as Cole Irvin is 3-1 with a 4.83 ERA and a .261 batting average against in 41.0 innings, 9 games, 6 starts on the road, while Jack Flaherty is 4-3 with a 3.60 ERA and a .246 opposing batting average in 55.0 innings during his 9 home starts this year. These offenses in the previous 13 games shows they are similar to one another as the Orioles are averaging 4.23 runs per game while the Dodgers are scoring 5.08 runs per game. Go with the Baltimore Orioles to cover the run line as the better bet here. My team pick is Baltimore Orioles plus 1.5 runs. These pitchers are combining to give up runs during the second half of the season as Cole Irvin is 0-0 with a 6.10 ERA and a 1.65 WHIP in 10.1 innings, 4 games, 1 start, while Jack Flaherty is 4-0 with a 2.65 ERA and a 1.09 WHIP in 34.0 innings, 6 starts. Throughout the season, these teams are hitting well with runners in scoring position as both the Dodgers and the Orioles are tied for 15th with a .755 team OPS with runners in scoring position thus far. All in all, go with over 8.5 runs in this game.